I got a lot of DMs on Instagram asking for a tutorial on this intro effect. So here it is. So without wasting time, let's jump in. First, you need to record a clip where you're basically performing the action on scrolling through the SD card and finally tapping on it so that the animation works smoothly. You can record either on your phone camera or any professional camera, anything works for it. Once you have recorded the clip, now it's time to begin the editing. Let's quickly open After Effects and create a new project file. Import all your footages once you are in After Effects. I'll just click on import files. I'll import my main clip, and this is the elements folder where basically I have the clips which I'll be using for the rolling effect. You can see I'm using JPEG images. I've already created those in Photoshop. So now let's select the main clip and create a new composition out of it. And then let's quickly see, like, this is our clip. It's already color graded. I've just converted into Rec 709. Once you have this, the first thing is we have to create a tracking motion of our SD card. Go into the tracker and click track motion. If you're not able to see it, go into Windows and you can enable the tracker option from here. Click on track motion and you have to change your tracking point. I'll just increase the size so that I can actually move it easily. Once you have this, you would want to move it. I'll move it to somewhere in the center of SD card, maybe over this 8 here, so that actually After Effects actually can track it very well, and it's at the center so the tracking works well. Once you have set the tracking point, you just need to play button so that After Effects does its magic and it tracks it. So now you can see that the tracking has been completed by After Effects. Now the next thing is we want to save this tracking into a particular layer so that it's saved. For that, what we'll do is create a new null object, rename it to tracking map or anything which you want. Once you have that tracking map here, you will see the edit target information here. We'll just click on tracking map here and click OK and select apply and just click OK. So now your tracking information is saved into this particular layer, and you'll be able to see that the tracking is there. How you can test it? Basically, you can actually click on a shape here, I guess the mask is created. I'll just click on outside, click on rectangle shape, and maybe fill is not there. Maybe I'll do a fill, and now this is the shape. What I'll do is I'll just click into tracking map, and now if you can see with this movement, the rectangle is also moving here, so our tracking information is perfectly set. Now we can delete our shape layer because we don't need it right now. Also, for my particular clip, as you can see that there is very minimal movement. You can see that the SD card is particularly on that location. Even my fingers are almost intact. So I am going to disable this tracking map, but it again depends on your clip. So if your clip has a lot of movement, if your SD card is moving from one position to another position, or your hand moved while shooting it, you can have this tracking information enabled. But for me, I'll just disable it. Let's jump into the interesting part. Now we'll create those buttons, or you can say that rolling icons from our images. So what I'll do is, from my image selected, I'll create a new comp from selection. I'll just name it as element 1. So you have this element 1 selected and you have your clip here. Now I'll just remove this so that we are just focusing on this. Click on move icon. So I have created these images in Photoshop because I did some grading and I just wanted to resize it into a particular way. But you can actually directly import your footages here, add text on top of it, have text, no text. It's totally up to you. To give this that buttonish look, or kind of a element which gives like that it's a phone screen or something, we have to create a shape around it which makes it a little round. So what we'll do is click outside and we'll create a round shape around this. So our fill is there's no stroke on it, and select the rounded rectangle tool. What I'll do is I'll create a shape on top of this, which basically covers in almost the entire image. Now with the shape selected, I'll just want to make it a little round. I'll make it around 150 to see how this looks. Maybe I'll increase it a little bit around 180, 190, I guess 190. Yeah, this looks good. Let's check. Yeah, this looks good. I think so. This gives that phone screen look as well, and once it's put into 3D, it will be looking very good. The next thing is we have to create a mask out of it. So what you can do is first is rename this layer, rename it to mask, so that you are clear that you have to create a mask out of it. Now what we want to do is put your image inside that. So what we'll do is press F4 on your keyboard so that you get this track matte option here. Once you have this track matte option enabled, what you have to do is click on mask 1. So what this will do is basically put your image inside basically that mask. So now this is done. I guess we look good and this is good. Now what we'll do is we'll create duplicate of our elements. So we have 6 elements, so I'll just create 6 duplicate elements, and basically what you have to do is just replace all your images into each elements, and you don't have to create it again and again. It's very easy. You can just click on the element 2, select this image. Which image? I guess I have to drag the 2020 image into this. So what I'll do is click Option or Alt in Windows, Option in Mac, and drag it over this 2019, and boom, you can see that it's automatically replaced. So with just simple, you can actually create these elements. So I'll just do this for the other elements as well. Now let's jump into the fun part where basically create this 3D rolling effect. So for that, what we'll do is first we have all our compositions of the elements. We'll drag it here, and after that even we have to create a new null object. I'll just move it here and name this null object as scroller effect maybe. Here is the basically where we'll create the animation of making it 3D and creating that rotation. Let's change these colors to yellow so that we know that these are separate layers. Let's rename this main clip to main comp so that this is our main composition. And now with our scroller layer selected, we just need to click on position. Before that, we have to make all of these layers as 3D. So select all these layers and click on these 3D icons so that all of these are 3D. Now before that, let's change the scale of these images. Okay, so with my 6 elements selected, I'll just change the scale to maybe 50% first. We'll see that 50 also looks big, so I'll just change it to 35% so that the images look comparatively resizable and it looks that okay, these are in a good position. Once you have changed the scale to 35%, the next thing is to bring our scroller, which the scroller layer, into Z space. So basically I'll change the value to somewhere 350 so that the entire scroller layer is in Z space. Now the next thing is put all my elements into that rotation effect. So since I have 6 elements, right, what I'll do is, since the rotation is 360 degree, I'll divide 360 by 6 and each element rotation will be 60 degree. So what I'll do is just hit R on the keyboard to bring the rotation angle, and with my element first selected, I'll just parent it to my scroller effect so that it's linked there, and I'll click here 60 degree. And you can see here that my element 1 has moved it into Z space, and even with the 60 degree rotation. So now as I move element by element, I'll start parenting it to the scroller effect and increase the rotation by 60 degree. So now I'll parent my element to the scroller and I'll just increase it by 60. So you can see that the second element is also in Z space with 60 degree rotation. Similarly, I'll parent the element 3 back to scroller, increase it by 60. So since I had 6 images, that's why I'm just increasing 360 by 660. If you have 4, it will be 90. If you have other, this math would work accordingly. Parent the fourth one as well, increase it by 60. Parent the fifth one as well, plus 60. We'll not parent the last image, you just have to parent it to the scroll effect so that it's linked there. You don't have to increase it by 60. So now all my elements are linked to my scroller and everything is in rotation as well. So now all of my elements in the 3D space with the rotation set. You can check by clicking on the Y rotation and rotating it. See, you can see that it's perfectly the 3D space in 360-degree rotation. So now we are almost there. So your elements are already in 3D space and it's scrolling. So now we need to add keyframes and make this animation come to life. So basically we have to match the movement of our SD card wherever we are scrolling to the position of our scroller and add some animation elements as well. So let's do that. We'll go into our scroller effect, we'll go at the start, add keyframes for all our transforms, and we'll try to see where the scroll is happening. Just find that point. So here you can see that scroll is happening. I'll just, let's add keyframes here. Check, perfect. This looks good. And then we'll go back to the point where actually the scroll has happened, increase our Y rotation so that it matches the effect. So you can see it's working fine. So we'll just make all these keyframes easy in, just function F9 so that this is smooth. So you can see, I'll just quickly play. It's looking good. So now let's play and see like whether our rotation is working fine with the scroll. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So now all our keyframes for the scroller is set. So now the animation looks good. Now our scroller effect is done. Now we have to add keyframes to our elements so that it feels like it's coming out of the SD card, makes sure that our opacity is working fine. But before that, I guess I missed one thing. I guess we have to, at the start of the clip and where basically the animation start, it should feel like that it's still rotating. So what I'll do is at the start of keyframe, I'll just make this pop out from this like 2019 here. Maybe for your case it will be different, but make sure that it's moving. So, and then basically the animation works here. Now to add keyframes into our elements, what I'll do is make sure that all our elements are selected and create a composition layer out of it. Why I'm doing so? So that since our entire that 3D icons, carousel, whatever it is into one element, because we want the entire the keyframing to work on that one composition itself. So I'll name this to scroller final. I'll just add some keyframes at the start and till here where till it's happening. I just want it to pop up maybe somewhere here. I'll just add keyframes here, and at the start I'll make the opacity to 0. I'll reduce the scale to 0 maybe for right now. Oh, I just forgot to turn into 3D. Let's turn it on, because let's Control Z first before adding, and then let's do 3D and then make it to 0 degree, and let's change the position. You can see that anchor point is changing, so that this way it will help us in basically moving our entire cursor into a perfect point and let that effect come out very neatly. So I'll just move it to somewhere here, and now if you see that, okay, perfect. See how beautiful it's coming out, and it's perfectly growing. I'll just make the keyframes easy and easier. Easy in, and now let's play and check. Perfect. I guess this looks good. Our animation is done. As you can see, it's beautifully coming up. You can leave it here or you can add some spice to it. To adding some spice, what I'll do is I'll just add a little glow to our elements. So to do that, what I'll do is I'll just quickly come into our element 1 layer and I'll just duplicate my mask. So this is my duplicated mask. I'll just enable it. I'll remove the fill layer. I'll add a scroll, change the color of the scroll to somewhere into this blue. Yep, I guess this looks good. So this will give that UI element kind of vibe. Now this is good, but we have to add some glow to it. So from the effect panel, let's search glow and drag glow into our mask. And what I'll do is I'll increase the radius here. So I'll increase it to somewhere around 120 here and increase the intensity to, intensity is good, okay, intensity is 2 is good, and I'll duplicate my glow so that that duplicated glow basically adds that depth as well. So what I'll do is I'll increase the radius and reduce the intensity so that we don't want too much popping up. I'll duplicate it again one more time, increase the radius, lower the intensity. Yep, I guess this is good. 0.5, I guess this is giving that vibe. But now you can see that this is applying to the entire area, not inside the image. So what to do that? Make sure that your matte is open. Just select the mask layer and then your effect will be inside the image and that button. This looks good to me. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this mask layers into my different elements. You just have to make sure that you change matte modes everywhere. And now let's go back to our main composition. The other thing is you should enable motion blur onto a final composition layer, and then let's play and check. Perfect, the animation looks amazing. Let's add some sound effects and see how the video looks like. And that's how you create this 3D scrolling animation in After Effects. Let me know how you like the tutorial. Do like, comment and share it with your friends and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until then, see you next time.